Welcome back. This is Jay. You might remember me from such thrilling instructional videos as uh, how to boil water or watching paint dry or the YouTube sensation how to make toast. Um, in this video, we're going to just go through some of the basics of how to edit down a big group of photos, do some sorting and organizing. Um, when I use the term edit, it's commonly used, people use the word edit when they're talking about actual retouching work that they're doing. Technically, editing really just means choosing which images will stay and which will go. I think especially photojournalists, when you hear them talk about an edit, they're talking about um, which are the keepers and which ones aren't going to make it. So that's really what we're referring to at this stage. After we've imported our images into our catalog, we want to quickly be able to go through and cull them down to the ones that we feel like are the most worthy of our time and efforts. Um, and there's a few ways we can do that. The first thing we can do while we're here in the library mode is we can double click on each image, see a full screen preview, and just using our arrow keys on the keyboard, um, we can quickly arrow through, and if we saw anything that was obviously problematic, we could either delete it, remove it from the catalog, or simply not give it any sort of rating. So you'll see right here we have these stars here. We can click on these stars, or we can use the number keys to give it a 1 through 5 rating. Generally, once I've worked my way through a catalog, or excuse me, a group of images, after I've rated them, if they don't have any stars on them, then those are images that I know I probably will never touch again. If they have 5 stars, then I know for sure those are keepers. 4-star is something that is a maybe, maybe with high probability. 3 stars might be something that it's unlikely I'm going to use, but it could have something useful in it. Generally below that, 2 or 1 stars, I don't give, just because if it's an average image at best, it's not worth my time. But everyone has their own ways to organize and systematize things. So you may work with 1 star being your highest rating and 5 going the other way. You may like to use colored labels or some combination of these. Right now, the first thing I'm going to do, though, I want to make a collection out of these. So I could go and pick certain images. I could just kind of cherry pick the best ones. I could do this after I've rated, or I could make the collection first, do the rating afterwards. In this case, I'd like to keep them all together just in case I need to show all of them to the client, even the ones that I'm planning to ditch. So on the Mac, you hit Command A. I believe on a PC it's Control A. I've just selected everything here. I've got all of the images that we just imported, and I'm going to go over here. Now that I've selected them all, I'm going to click on the plus next to collections, create collection, and I can give it a name. So we'll call these just what we named the image files. I'll call it Fit Athletic Solana Beach. We won't worry about this for now. I think this will be simple enough, a good way to get started. Obviously, I just selected all these photos, so naturally I would like to include the selected photos, but I could create a collection, have this unchecked. Maybe I haven't decided which images yet. I just want to make a collection and figure out which ones will go into it later. I could do that. So let's click create. Now you can see here under collections, Smart Collection is something that Lightroom will try to do for you. I like to make my own. So here we can see we've got all 81 images. Let's go back and let's get rid of this. Let's start over again. I got rid of my collection, but all the images that I imported are still here. So this is just a way to organize it within your catalog, but it's not your catalog itself. That's this stuff up here. So let's say I just created a collection and I didn't include any of this that I have selected. Here's the name. So I've just given a name to a collection, but this collection doesn't have any images in it yet. I can then take these that have been selected. If I click in the image and drag, you can see I've got the whole group of them. I can drop them in that collection folder there. If you try clicking here, you notice it's just deselected all the others and it won't move. That's a common mistake people make. They'll create a collection, they try to add something to it, and it won't go, and they get really frustrated. So just remember, I'm going to hit Command A, reselect all those, click inside one of the images, drag it here, and now I've got my collection. So this can be pretty handy. I might have a folder. Let's say for this client, I might end up with a folder in here that has a lot of other things that I've shot for this particular client, but rather than have, this is one of those issues that can be kind of a matter of taste for you. I'm going to have multiple folders in here, and I can have my collections match that same exact folder structure. I could have just one big generic folder here and have collections that sort things out more. I think it's a good idea to have it at least roughly match what your folder structure is, where your images are, so that they kind of mirror each other. In my real working catalog, I have two other collections for some of their other locations that I'm shooting, and I'll probably have at least one more collection I'll add when we work on some advertising images. So that's kind of some of the thinking behind how you can use collections.